Hey everyone, I'm about to catch a glorious, majestic, magical, epic, hypnotizing, mesmerizing, inspiring, whatever other adjective you can throw at it, kind of sunrise out here in the desert. I'm in the Lake Mead area, and I thought it would be really cool to record the sunrise, which I'm going to do, and I'm going to put pictures and stuff trailing at the end of this video. But before we get to that, because it hasn't happened yet, I wanted to talk to you for a minute, if you will indulge me, about a really profound and very simple lesson that nature teaches us in one of its most glorious masterpieces, the sun rising and the sun setting. It's kind of a duh moment. You'll see what I mean. But there's something that's largely missed, I think, with a lot of people, and that is the sun rises in the east and it sets in the west. You know that, but so what? So look deeper into that and what nature is trying to show us. The farmer, for example, and by the way, this is an analogy, so draw some parallels to this, to whatever's going on in your life. So the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. The farmer obviously knows that the time to work is during the daytime so that he or she can see, they can be productive. So they know that when the sun sets, it's time to rest. Thomas Edison used that fact of this law of the universe to challenge himself to create a solution so that workers could work, like in the factories and so on, at nighttime. So he came up with the light bulb. 10,000 tries later, he finally got it. He didn't give up. His vision was pretty powerful. He wasn't pushed around by his circumstances. And what do these two people have in common? What does every self-made, successful, extremely successful person have in common? Whether they realize it or not, they're finding out what these simple laws are that they have no control over. And they're focusing on what they do about it. I don't believe that the universe asks us to like the natural setup of things. The universe asks us to use the natural setup of things to help us get what we want. It's all a point of leverage. The changing of the seasons, where the sun rises and where it sets and how it does all these things. That's just the way that it is. And a lot of us try to mess with these things. Not maybe literally the sunset and the sun rising and the fact that winter comes after fall and so forth. But I'll take a common example, a common parallel, but you got to draw your own parallels in a way that's relatable to you. But say the value of the dollar. We have no control over that whatsoever. But we sure spend a lot of time bitching and complaining about it and trying to fight that, and we put a lot of focus on that. And to put focus where you have no control whatsoever, that means that you're probably, you're not going to change your circumstances. You're not going to improve them at all because you're trying to fight these circumstances in which you have zero control. So instead of fighting that, how people become wealthy, for example, to create freedom and to be able to create more contribution, they find out how money works and they use it as a point of leverage to propel them forward in whatever their message is of healing and of good and all those kinds of things. So, if you have a financial goal, find out how money works instead of complaining about how your boss doesn't pay you enough and how the value of the dollar declines a little bit every year, taking away its intrinsic value, how the cost of living goes up a little bit each year, and all these other things. Instead of complaining about that, you have to expand your means, learn about those rules, and generate the kind of cash flow that you need so that, your brain is where the control is. And you start asking yourself, what do I have to do to become the person who can solve this problem? And then go for it, because that's what's going to open up your brain into a rich and creative mindset that's actually searching for answers versus focusing on something you have no control over. Therefore, your brain is pretty much closed down and not even focused on finding solutions at all. And that's a lazy, poor mindset. And you don't get far that way. And we've got plenty of examples in the world on both sides of that coin to show you. So that's just one example. There's many laws of the universe, laws of nature, laws of the earth that they don't ask us to like them. They ask us to use them. So the question we should ask ourselves is, what do I have to do to become the person that can get what I want? And the answer is going to lie in finding out the rules of nature, the rules of money, the rules of time, and all those kinds of things, and then learning how to leverage those things to be able to get what you want. That's it. Plain and simple. So with that being said, I'm going to show you one of these glorious sunrises to help you remember that lesson and to get you to start creatively thinking and searching for answers in a way that you're cooperating with nature and cooperating with things that you have no control over, so that you can start to use all those things to help you become the person that can get what you want. And that's how I did it, that's how I'm doing it, and that's how successful people are doing it. And the unsuccessful, they're not doing that. Their focus is on the setup, the natural setup, which is where they have no control. I hope that makes sense. Go to my website, tombirkenmeyer.com. Dig around. I know a lot of stuff in my journey of failures, which has been the way to the various destinations of success. It really has. And I've journaled it all. I've made well over 1,000 videos so far, and blogs, and all kinds of free content that you can sink your teeth into. Just cherry pick whatever makes sense for you to help you get where you need to be. And then tell me all about it. I'd love to hear about it. tombirkenmeyer.com. So without further ado, I'm going to stop this and then stitch together videos of the sunrise that's going to come up over there. I'll show you what it looks like right now. This is Lake Mead over here, outside of Boulder City, going towards Hoover Dam. And I don't think this is really picking up the layers of like pinks and purples that's showing up, but the sun is going to rise right over there. Let's see if I can focus more. It's beautiful. It's one of those things, I guess, you got to be here in person to see all these colors. But we'll see what it looks like when I get it on the computer. Those mountains back there. One thing in the desert that I've noticed as of a long time ago is that the mountains that the sun is shining on, in my opinion, look prettier. So the sun rises in the east, the mountains to the west that the sun is shining on are going to be spectacular. Alright, and next will be the video of the sunrise and some pictures. Stick around. You can't see the sun yet, but you can see it shining on the mountains to the west. And as that sunbeam hits the base of the mountain, it'll peek over the tops of the mountains to the east. It's such an awesome thing to see progress during the course of the sunset, or the sunrise. There we go. Well, I was totally wrong about where the sun is rising. I am so directionally impaired, it's ridiculous. I originally said it was going to be right over there, because I thought this is where I started to see some sunbeams coming through. But as it turns out, well, let me show you where it's at. Right over here. And there you have it. A magical, glorious, mesmerizing, hypnotic, whatever other adjective you can throw at it, kind of a sunrise. And now because that mountain ridge is so close that the sun is coming over, I can actually toy with where the sun is actually kissing the horizon, or the ridge of that mountain. As you can see it reflecting off my face, because I'm sort of going back and forth playing with it. And now I'm back in it. How fun. Alright, hope you enjoyed this video. TomBerkemeyer.com. Tons more. Subscribe to my YouTube too. I put these kinds of videos out pretty frequently and they're so much fun. And I travel a lot to really cool places. Bye for now.